Hello, my name's Bob Ryan, and today we're doing a video for homedefensegun.net where we're going to attempt to show you how recoil and point of impact changes as you change your handgun loads. Now, as a first demonstration, we're going to be shooting a 480 Ruger Super Red Hawk here, which isn't your normal self-defense gun, but as calibers increase, bore diameter and velocity, it's a lot easier to demonstrate how point of impact shifts because it shifts a greater amount. Also, recoil shifts a greater amount. The two different types of ammo we're going to be using today for this demonstration are some 400 grain hunting shack loads that I purchased, factory ammo, and some 350 grain hand loads. Now these are considerably slower than the factory load. This hunting shack load is designed more for knocking over an elk or handgun hunting in general. And these hand loads are 15 grains of Ogden H110 with a 350 grain lead cast bullet that I drummed up simply because they're lower in recoil and let me play Dirty Harry with this big gun when I get in the mood. Anytime somebody makes something for 480 Ruger, I like to give them a little plug. So the hunting shack ammo is good stuff. If you buy it, they use shooting star brass in it. It holds up really nice. These lead cast bullets that we're shooting today, they came from an outfit in Lolo, Montana called Going Ballistic Bullet Company, and they're really nice, good, hard lead bullets. They don't leave anything in your bore when you're done playing with them. As I said, this isn't your average self-defense handgun, but it does do a very nice job of demonstrating change of point impact and recoil. So we'll move over to the range now and take a look at how this changes. Alright, well, now we're going to fire off one light round of more or less police special loaded 480 Ruger ammunition, and then we're going to fire off one factory loaded piece of 480 Ruger ammunition to demonstrate how recoil changes as you increase both velocity and muzzle energy with your handgun loads. For the second half of our demonstration on how changing your ammunition shifts your point of aim and changes the amount of recoil you experience while shooting, we're going to use a slightly more normal concealed carry handgun. This is a Glock 19, which is basically the kind of middle model that Glock offers. It's not a subcompact, it's not a full size, it's a carry gun. This one looks a little funny because it's been equipped with some taller night sights because its owner occasionally equips a silencer to it, but it still works just fine in its original application as a concealed carry handgun. To show how recoil differs as you change your type of ammunition, we've got some 115 grain full metal jacket 9mm here. It's just out of the big Walmart box that everybody always tries to buy when they can. And then we're going to fire some 147 grain full metal jackets here from Winchester, which is basically I guess a full power target load. And then to finish things up, we're going to fire off some 147 grain Hydra shocks, which are pretty juiced up self-defense ammunition. And hopefully as we move over to the range now to fire this stuff, you'll see how this affects where your gun's hitting and how much it kicks. Now we're going to do a demonstration with a slightly more normal carry handgun, the Glock 19, and I've got this magazine loaded up with basically staggered ammunition that increases in muzzle velocity and energy as we move through the magazine. The first three are just your basic low-end 115 grain full metal jackets. The next three will be 147 grain full metal jackets, and the final three are very fast Hydra shock hollow points. self-defense ammunition, essentially. So we'll fire these off, and you can watch and see how the recoil changes as we move up in muzzle energy. So here we are with our target that we've been shooting at here today with various handgun loads from two different pistols. Here we have our first 480 Ruger round, which only left the muzzle at about 800 feet per second. And then way up here, we've got our second 480 Ruger round, which left the muzzle at about 1200 feet per second. And as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of travel here between the two rounds, which is important to me as a handgun hunter, and of course, important to anybody who is interested in knowing where their ammunition hits for self-defense purposes. Down here, we have our 9mm rounds. First off, we've got our 147 grainers here, which is a fairly heavy bullet for the 9mm, traveling at a reduced amount of speed, so they hit a little lower. Next up, we've got our 115 grain, kind of cheap Winchester Walmart ammo here. That travels at a pretty good clip, but not quite as fast as the Hydroshock ammunition, which has a slightly heavier bullet, but they're loaded up so hot that they actually hit higher again. This left to right you see here isn't any cause of the ammunition, it's just my ham-handed attempt at keeping the groups separate. But as you can see, even with common store-bought ammunition, there's a big difference here in our point of impact. Maybe not enough to make any significant difference at short-range self-defense type situations, but you could find yourself in a parking lot or something. As range increases, this deviation that you see here is going to increase as well. This is just something that's pretty much impossible to get around unless you only shoot one lot, one grain of ammunition. So now we're going to move back over to the bench and talk about what you can do to kind of work this problem out. Alright, well, we've seen how changing bullet weight, velocity, and brand of ammunition can shift the point of impact and the amount of recoil that you experience when you fire a handgun. It's probably a good time to ask the question, what do you do about this? Well, for starters, you want to get out and do what we're doing today. Practice on targets with various brands of ammunition, find one you like, and for the most part, stick with it. If you have a particular type of ammunition that shoots well out of your handgun, you want to get a large amount of that and run through it. If you're one of these people who prefers to, say, carry Hydroshock ammunition and do target practice with the cheaper stuff, that's all right as well, as long as you are aware that that is going to change conditions for point of impact and recoil, and you want to practice with a certain amount of the more expensive stuff, obviously. We've seen too that as you move up in caliber and velocity, this becomes even more important. There are also certain things you can do to try to keep your point of aim in one place with multiple types of ammunition. By and large, this involves how you grip the handgun, how you hold it, and how much you squeeze between your thumb and your forefinger, squeezing on the grip of the handgun. Some guns, it's kind of hard to notice. Obviously this 9mm doesn't recoil nearly as much as the 480 Ruger, but you can shift point of aim simply by squeezing a little more, holding a little more tension backwards like this with your offhand. With this particular handgun, it's actually a little physically painful to fire the heavier loads without properly gripping it. With this one you can use it more as a control effect, and as you squeeze more or less between the thumb and the forefinger, you'll see your point of aim shift. So, hope this has been informative, and it's something to give a try to next time you're out on the range.